Hey Eurovision fans, it's Tom Kuntu from China, back for another Eurovision reaction video. Today I'm going to be giving you my reaction and analysis of the OGAE Poll results for Eurovision 2022. So let's kiki. As always, I will leave timestamps in the progress bar and also in the description below. Now I am going to be doing a video for both the OGAE results and also the Eurojury results. I'm going to do them separately just to keep everything a little bit less complicated. Don't worry, I'll explain what Eurojury is in my Eurojury video, which I'll do pretty soon. But yeah, this video I'm just going to focus more on OGAE. I'll have a couple of comparisons between the two. So don't worry if you don't know what the AGE is, I will explain it to you. It is a poll that is done every single year with the fan clubs for Eurovision, so they're called OGAE. It stands for something French, Organisation Générale Association Eurovision, or something like that. And basically each country will have a fan club. It's just basically a fan club in each country where people can meet who are big fans of Eurovision, and then also meet each other when they go to the competition and help organize tickets and stuff like that. So it's a nice thing. It gets a lot of criticism because it does tend to be slightly dominated by a certain demographic, which I'm not going to get into because really I think it sometimes borderlines on a little bit too nasty. Obviously this is coming from someone who is part of one of these clubs as well. But yeah, every year it's organized that each fan club members will put in their votes for their country. So I think there's around 45 or so different countries, because there's one for the rest of the world, there's one for Slovakia, even countries who aren't participating in Eurovision. Everyone compiles their votes and then the points are given from 1 to 12. Now there's different amounts of people in each group. For example, I know that the British OGAE is the biggest one. I think it's got a lot of people. It might be 1,000 or so, where some of them obviously like quite tiny. Usually is like relatively proportionate to how popular Eurovision is in the country and also the population of the country. Now, why is this relevant? Well, fully enough, it does actually have some predictive quality. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect because obviously this poll is done before rehearsal, so there's limited information in terms of what the OGAE members have. Having said that, it has got some predictive qualities. If we look at the pre-results, I'm going to pop them up here. This is from Wikipedia. This is just from 2007. The competition was going before that. This is just what's on the Wikipedia page. So you can see that of these 15 years, they got the winner right 5/30. So it's a third, not terrible. 1 and 3 is not that bad in terms of predictions with a contest with so many entrants. But then also if you count in top 3 placings, it becomes 8 of 15, so just over half. You can almost assume that half the time, the winner of the OGAE poll will be in the top 3. Okay, that's not perfect, but at this point in time, we're still waiting for full rehearsals to come out and we're kind of just like looking at any information we can get. It sometimes just gives a slight inclination in terms of how people are feeling. Now, on the flip side, the poll can be really, really wrong. So you'll see that there's these 4 red boxes. Those are countries which did not even qualify. So that's happened 4 times. That Israel one is My Fine Gold. The San Marino one is Vola Cristalada. The Switzerland ones, one of them is Vampires Are Alive. I'm not sure what the other one is. I remember looking it up, but it wasn't a song I remember. So yeah, songs that are really popular with the community can bomb sometimes. Now, obviously, people are voting before they've seen the final performance and how the vocals are and what kind of stage presence and staging they've got. So it's not perfect information that they're deciding on. There's also a very, very strong bias towards female singers and female bops. You can see that in 2011 when Katie Wolf won with What About My Dreams, which I think came 18th or so in the final. That song was never going to win. That was just very much the OGAE demographic skewing towards that type of music that they really like. So yeah, you do take the results with a pinch of salt. It's quite predictable some years what songs are going to do well and which ones aren't. It's still quite an interesting insight into how the televote might possibly go in the actual competition. No, not 15, 14. Fuck. Sorry, all the stats I said before with 15, it's actually 14 because they've got the results in here. It's 14. So sorry, it was 5 out of 14 earlier and an 8 out of 14 before, which is which is quite a distance over half. Okay, sorry about that mistake earlier. Okay, so I've talked about some of the disadvantages of it. One of the, like, I wouldn't say advantages, but one of the interesting things about this is a post from someone I follow on Twitter, and they went through and looked at how the people who won the OGAE poll did in the actual competition. And since 2007, there has been a streak going where the winner has always been in the top 9 in the competition. Now, interestingly, the song that breaks that streak is Finland, which
won in 2006 with a rock song, Lordy, and that came I think it was 28th. I don't have the actual poll with me right now. It was around late 20s. But since then, every year, the winning song has been in the top 9. So again, that's kind of interesting. If you win the OGAE poll, you're pretty much, statistically anyway, it's a pretty decent streak that's going on that you're going to be top 10. This year, the favorite, as we all know, is Ukraine. And Ukraine came 11th in the OGAE poll, which could be quite interesting because if they were to win, they would break that streak, or they would just change the streak from being top 10 to just top 11. So it's not really changing the streak that much, but the current streak that's going up top 9, it would actually stop that. This is also kind of implying that Sweden, who won this year, are destined for top 10 placing. So yeah, there's some like kind of cute statistics that you can take out of it if you really want to delve and overthink about it enough, which I do. That's what I do. So another really interesting contrast for me between the OGAE poll, which is a lot more people contributing to this vote, and Eurojury. So I'll briefly explain what Eurojury is. I will go into more detail when I do my Eurojury vote. But Eurojury is basically much smaller groups of people. So for example, the Irish OGAE votes, which I voted in, had 68 people voting, whereas in Eurojury you'll only have sometimes only one person in the jury. Usually it's around 2 or 3. Now, this brings us on really interesting as well, because I'm going to flash up the results of the OGAE poll here. It's going to cover my face. And what you're going to notice is, don't worry about all the numbers, but just look at how many countries got absolutely no points, or there's just lots of big white spaces. And that's the biggest difference between the OGAE, which is the fan one, which has much more larger numbers of people voting, and the Eurojury, which is music professionals, with much smaller numbers. So with the Eurojury, you get a much bigger spread, whereas OGAE, you see the same countries getting points over and over again. And this is one of the things that happens every year with OGAE, which because I follow it every single year, I get a little bit excited. I like making my spreadsheets. You know, I love a delicious spreadsheet with some automatic colors in them, but it does get a bit repetitive after a while. You start to see it's the same countries all the time. The fandom really does tend to gravitate towards the same songs. You can see there's this kind of like universality. For example, this year, Italy got points from every single country, Sweden got points from everybody but Russia, Netherlands got points from all but 5 countries, which is really impressive, and Spain got points from everyone but 2. So you can see those 4 countries were basically in all the OGAE results. So it does get a little bit more boring as it goes on. The first 10 or so results are really exciting. It's like, okay, basically you kind of know who's going to win after the first 10 results. Whereas when you look at the Eurojury, it's way more spread out. And this brings up an interesting point for me, which is that this is another facet of the jury that I just don't think people realize, is that when you have a larger group of people, you just tend to skew towards having the same result. And that's what happens, you'll notice, when people do polling for elections. They don't poll 50,000 people, they usually will just poll around 1,000, because after 1,000 people, you do tend to just keep getting the same result. And the numbers might change by 1 or 2%, but not that much. I actually saw that the same when I did my polls on my community channel, if you were following them, that the results would start fluctuating quite wildly at the start, but then it would calm down. And then despite having 5,500, not 5,000, 500, 1,000 more votes, the percentage was budging very little, because a kind of consensus is reached when you have a lot more people voting. So that's what happens at OGAE, whereas with the Eurojury, we've got much smaller groups. You tend to have these results that are going all over the place. If I really love an obscure country like Georgia in the OGAE contest, my vote will basically just get lost, because to actually get the final points, to be in the final top 10, you need to have like over 100 points. So my 12 points given to an obscure country basically won't get counted. If I'm in a group of 2 people, my 12 points will definitely mean that country is in the top. So when you have a jury of smaller people, you're going to get a bigger spread of the points, because you're not going to reach that consensus. And I think that's an underappreciated point of what the jury does. It basically spreads out the points a little bit more. It accounts for the fact that instead of finding the most popular and just having the same people get the points over and over again, you get a little bit more proportional representation, where songs that are slightly less popular can still get some points as well. And I really like that system, because it means there's more country getting points. Instead of having this really small block at the top who are just hogging everything, you get bigger dispersal of points. And I don't like seeing people with 0. So I actually really like, I don't think a lot of people think is one of the other purposes of the jury is to spread out the points a little bit more. Okay, let's go through the results. results. So the noticeable thing as well with Eurojury is you get a lot more zeros. So it was only 1 0 in Eurojury this year, but with OGAE there was 13 zeros, and that's pretty standard. There's usually only around between 24 and 27 countries who get points. There's usually around 13, 14, 15 who won't get any points. That's pretty standard. Now, getting 0 points does not mean you're out. Moldova Sunstroke Project infamously got 0 points in the OGAE in their 2017, I think, and they ended up coming third. Now, obviously, people didn't know they're staging them, but was the staging really that amazing? The song was still there. People were able to hear the song, and it still got no points from OGAE. So just because you get 0 doesn't mean you're out. But like I said, the winner of OGAE has always been in the top 9 for the past 15 or so years. There's been no winner with 0 points that I'm aware of. These are the countries that got 0 points. We had Armenia, which a little bit surprising because Armenia looking like a real contender now with really elevated staging. Azerbaijan, not too surprising. Bulgaria, Denmark, Georgia, Iceland. I was a little bit surprised about Iceland. I thought they might get a couple. Ireland, again, I thought they might get a couple, but 0. Israel, Macedonia, Montenegro, Slovenia, and San Marino. So yeah, of all those, I'm probably most surprised by Ireland. I thought Ireland, because it's an upbeat bop, which does tend to skew towards the OGAE community, I thought it would get a couple of points. It does make me worry a little bit more about Ireland now that not even this demographic in the OGAE is willing to give any points. That's slightly disconcerting for me. I do feel that is Ireland's song is the type of song that would normally do well. You look, for example, other kind of songs that are in that genre, female bops. Cyprus did okay this year. Last year, San Marino did excellently, as did Cyprus, etc. So yeah, female bops do tend to do well, but not this year for Brooke. Otherwise, yeah, I can see that the songs that get there, they tend to be the more jury-baited ones, a little bit more understated. And like I said, those songs might all have fans, but they get washed out by the numbers because there's just more people who like Sweden, Italy, Netherlands, and UK. Oh, that's another thing. UK got points from everyone but 6. So let's go into the top results. So let's just start with UK. Really, really pleasantly surprised for the UK. They came 5th in the OG. That's really brilliant. Now keep in mind, UK usually gets no points or maybe like less than 10. I think I even did a tweet about it saying that we need to stop and take a photo of because they were as high as 4th. The winner by very small distance, only 6 points, was Sweden. That really does tie in with what I'm seeing on Twitter. There's a lot of people who are really, really obsessed with the song and really, really love it. I'm cautious about how popular this is. Again, this is the type of this female song that OG tends to skew towards. So I'm not, although I think it's like, again, it implies top 10 to me from that result, I still feel I need to be convinced by more mainstream appreciation for the song because I would expect the OGAE community to really, really like this. Italy coming second, on the other hand, I feel like now not only has Italy got mainstream popularity because we saw how huge this song was in Italy with the mainstream population, but it's also got popularity in the televote or with this Eurovision fan group. So that's why I'm thinking Italy's televote could be really, really strong because this has Eurovision appeal and mainstream appeal together. Sweden might have both of those, but at this point in time, I'm only convinced that it has Eurovision appeal. I don't know if it has that mainstream appeal yet. It might, but I don't know. In 3rd place was Spain. Again, Spain usually don't do well with OGAE at all, so don't think that that's just because there's lots of Spanish people. Obviously, you can't vote for your own country. But yeah, seeing Spain in top 3, really, really interesting that actually in the top 5, there were 3 of the big 5, which is, I don't know, someone who's got the time. I don't actually want to go through and try and find when the last time that happened, but it doesn't happen a lot. It's quite common to have one of the big 5 in the top 3, but it's usually France or Italy. Definitely not Spain and the UK. So that is a novelty for us. But yeah, really lovely to see that success to Spain. This is one of the songs I still don't listen to, but I really, really want Spain to do well. So I'm hoping that this will translate into a strong televote for Spain because I feel like they've made so much progress this year. I really want it to be rewarded in some way so that it gives them that extra confidence in what they've done, in the changes that they've made, and that the decision makers behind the scene will get congratulated for it and rewarded and allowed to continue on this progress because I thought Spain and UK have made some fantastic progress this year. I'm so excited for both of them going into the future. So in 4th place was Netherlands. I thought this was really interesting as well. They got points from pretty much everyone. I think this is a song that's going to get a stronger jury vote. So seeing that it also got a strong televote as well, I still think this is in contention to win. I've already seen the photos from the first rehearsals. I haven't seen the full rehearsal yet. By the way, I do have an online press pass this year, so So I will be watching the rehearsals from Wednesday, and I will be leaving Shorts, this new YouTube thing called Shorts. I'm going to be filming videos with my initial reaction on it, and then I'll do a longer reaction as well in the evening once all the rehearsals are done. It might have to be the next day because I'm 6 hours ahead of the schedule, but I'll try and get out that night if I'm able to. I think this is a dark horse. I don't know why this is still 9th in the odds. I don't bet on Eurovision anymore because I don't want, I just find that it was kind of like a little bit ruining the final for me sometimes. So I just made a rule that I'm not going to do anymore. But if I was going to bet, this is what I would bet on. Probably, maybe not to win, but to come top 3. I'll probably put it in either way, one more, which is where you bet on it coming first, second, third. Okay, in 6th place we had France. Again, really, okay, so actually 4 of the big 5 were in the top 6. That is really crazy. So even more pressure put on Germany, who came 25th with 2 points. So France, yeah, really great for them. Poland coming 7th. I think that's a really great result for Poland. I don't think Poland has a chance to win at all, but I definitely think that they should come top 10, and I think that should be celebrated, and I hope that people are not upset with them not winning, because really, if you said to someone, look, Poland are going to come top 10 this year, people will be really surprised because Poland have not been top 10 in such a long time. They haven't had a really good result in a long time. So this is great news for Poland that the fans are responding to it. I think this reassures for me that they are going to come top 10 this year. And Norway in 8th. Now, I may be a little bit surprised it's a little bit hard, but we see that there's a lot of people in the fandom who don't like this, or they think it's too silly or stupid. I feel like there is a slight element of, look, fair enough, some people just don't like it, they think it's stupid. I do also think there's an element of people feeling it's too Eurovision, and I've seen a lot of comments of people in many places saying that they don't like this because this is the reason people make fun of Eurovision. I really don't like that mentality that like we should be ashamed because of mainstream people judging. I really don't give a fuck. I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck about what mainstream people think about this thing that I'm incredibly passionate about and really, really love. I'm not looking for their validation or their acceptance, and if they're making fun of it, I just think it's because they're small-minded and ignorant. Not everyone makes fun of Eurovision, but the people who do, I don't feel like we need to like make our competition less vivacious and exciting and more boring and more mainstream just to try and please these people who really don't give a fuck about it and just tune in for one night. So I get a little bit, not irked, but I think it's a little bit sad when I see people that I feel like they're ashamed of it. I feel like there's like they're slightly projecting their own shame on Eurovision. Maybe that's me overreading it, but yeah, I think this is the type of song when people tune into Eurovision, they do want something that's a little bit out there, a little bit wild and crazy, and this is definitely it and really vicious. So I think this is going to do better in the actual televote than it's done in the OGAE. I think that this could potentially win the televote. I think it's definitely top 3. Their performance in MGP was really, really solid and ready to go. They've pretty much copied and pasted it into the thing. I've seen the photos from the first rehearsal. I haven't seen the full rehearsal yet, obviously, because that won't happen until Thursday. In 9th place was Albania. Again, another fan favorite. This is the female bop I was talking about. And when I was talking about earlier about it, I was a little bit worried by how Brooke wasn't doing better. This is the type of song, Albania, that you expect to do really well with the fandom. I've seen a lot of people who are like really, really obsessed with this and really love this song, and it's in their top 3 in the fandom, but will it have the same appeal with the mainstream? That's to be seen. In 10th place was Austria. Again, another one of these songs that I feel the OGAE is going to do better than it's going to do in the mainstream. I am still not convinced that Australia are going to qualify. In my original prediction video, I said they would, but since I've heard some of the vocals, I'm thinking now that maybe not so much. I've heard that they're bringing on 4 backing vocalists, which I think is very, very, very smart. I think they're just going to get 4 people to come in the back, and basically Pia Marie just needs to lip sync because they're just going to be screaming over her. It's a strategy. I think they're probably just doing what needs to be done to try and qualify. But yeah, I'm still not convinced that this is going to have the same love from the mainstream either. And I'm going to stop. And then in 11th place was Ukraine. So this is currently the favorite. As I said, if this wins, this will break that streak of the Eurovision winner being in the top 9 of the OGAE. I think I mixed that up earlier. I think I said it wrong earlier, but you got what I meant. And we'll just read them. So Cyprus were in 12th, Estonia 13th, Serbia 14th. But Serbia's votes were quite unusual because when they did get votes, it was usually up the top. They got a 10, an 8, a 4, 4, 12. So they got votes from very few people, but the votes that they did get were generally, the average was quite high. Greece, a little bit lower than I expected, actually, only in 15th. Finland, Czechia, again, a bit lower than I was expecting. Austria got over double the points of Czechia. I do think these songs share some similarities. Australia 19th, Lithuania 19th, Portugal in 20th, Latvia, but Latvia only got votes from one country, and that was Russia, who obviously aren't voting in the actual final. Moldova, Croatia, Belgium, Germany, Malta, Romania, and Switzerland all finishing off, and I think they all mostly got one vote each. Okay, so look, I'm obviously over-analyzing the crap out of it, but since we don't have any rehearsals yet, I thought it might just be a fun thing to do. Look, you can infer from this what you want. I have given a disclaimer that all this information comes with large doses of salt. I'm spraying salt all over this video. I've given you warnings that I don't take this too literally, but it does give some like kind of cute traditions and statistics that you can maybe over-analyze and get excited about one of your favorites if you want to. It's all just a little bit of fun. Anyway, this is my OGAE video. I'm going to do one on the Eurojury as well, which I'm probably going to keep a little bit shorter. Hopefully this is already 27 minutes. I'm going to have to edit the crap out of it. I'm glad that I separated the two videos. That's what I think about the OGAE 2022 results. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in another Eurovision video very soon. Goodbye.